Where's Joey C. Jones? Let's talk to him.
Technology is working.
It's working, man. It's working like a charm.
Figured out the three-way and more than just sex.
Yeah, I know.
No, I didn't. I did it while having sex.
Pulling off things you never knew you could. Unbelievable. Joey C. Jones, man. Never had you on the show before. I know all about you. A body of work that speaks volumes. Just, the songs, the stories, it's all there, man. And how you doing? I mean, forget about me. Who the hell cares about me? How the hell are you doing? And where are you today?
I'm in Dallas. Everything is fine here. Got about 3 different projects going these days. If you have 3 projects going, one of them works out. So, hey, I will play the odds. Still doing a lot of the songs from the past as well as working on new stuff.
Because when you're an artist, you just create and you move forward. It's not about what happened in whenever, right? I mean, we got to do that, right?
That's it. You always got to keep trying to change up, never do the same thing twice, and unless somebody's paying you a lot of money to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just for the audience to kind of go back, I don't mean to finesse nostalgia, but just kind of go back in time to kind of know where things were. When did you start in music? Like, how old were you? Were you in bands in high school? Were you in bands as a toddler? Who knows? When did you start into rock and roll?
Yeah, when I was a senior in high school, that was when I threw my first act together and done my first gig. And then right after that, that's when Sweet Savage started.
Sweet Savage, this is about 83, 84, right, when you guys formed?
It was late 84, so as soon as we got out of school.
So what happened? Now, where is this regionally? Where is this at the time that you guys formed the band?
Chris and Lane and I were from a little hick town in Ohio called Athens, Ohio, about 12,000 people. And we put it together there, and then we never really put it together there. Lane and I put a band together there. Then we took it to Columbus, the bigger city up there in Ohio, and then we brought it to Dallas in late 84, and then L.A. in 85.
So you come out to L.A. 1985, Sweet Savage, you have your songs, you have the demo, you have the flyers, you're plastering around the town. Back then, explain for my audience what 1985 Sunset Strip was like.
It was definitely the pinnacle of fun. Let's put it that way. It was incredible. Like 5 or 6 nights a week, the strip was always packed, and with locals as well as a lot of tourists. So it was so fun just to hang out and have like the girls who came to visit LA from out of town freaking out on you. And you walk up and give them a hug and invite them to a show, and they would come to the show. Everybody just cared a lot back then, and whereas today, bands promote themselves by the internet, which is great. Back then, you just done it with eye contact. If it was the guys, you'd walk up and shake their hand. If it was the girls, you'd give them a hug and a kiss and invite them to the show.
And they'd be shaking something else. No, I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it was a great time, and all the bands that were getting over at that time, they've got a lifetime of memories that really only took about 4 or 5 years to make.
Because it was like an era of, it was a feeling of, there was endless possibilities. Like, so you didn't know what was going to happen one day to the next, right? I mean, you guys could be playing the Whiskey one night and the next night be in a plane out to some stadium somewhere, open up for some big band, because you just didn't know, and you didn't know when you'd be signed, but you felt something was there. Obviously, the talent was there. Obviously, the presentation was there. Obviously, the fans were there. What was going on in your head at the time? Because you guys did get offers. You guys did get a tremendous amount of attention. And what was the deal? I mean, what was the fact that, let us know. I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate just to hear the story.
Well, what we've done, like a few of the bands of that era, we did make a couple mistakes. A couple of the decisions that were made really wasn't made by us. Our manager at the time was Dana Strum, the Slaughter guy, because he was the guy who produced our EP. And we started getting offers. One of them was the Enigma deal that Poison ended up taking like 6 months later. And there was also an Atlantic deal. And he was like really holding out for like mega money and all that. Whereas, the band, we were like, hey, we're young. Just give us a deal,
right.
Get over in some way. So, I have zero regrets, but, I have been asked that question a lot of times, since Poison ended up taking that deal and going on and being legendary or whatever. But I'm not bitter about it. I enjoy talking about it. But, one of the big advantages that we had in that era also was we had some investors from here in Dallas, and we owned 2 of our own trucks, our own light show, and our own PA. Now, back in those days in L.A., the way that the promoters worked it out, you could only play in L.A. once a month because you would spend the rest of the month promoting the show.
Right.
So the fact that we had lights and sound, we would do our one show a month and then, hang out a couple other weeks. And then we would spend about 2 weeks out of the month. We would go play Phoenix, come back, hit Houston, Dallas, Austin, hit Memphis, hit Nashville, hit Louisville, Columbus, and Cleveland. We just had a little circuit that we did on our own. And that allowed us to make money. We made money from playing the shows in L.A., but we made money probably about 12 days out of the month because we owned our own production and all that. It was a blast.
It sounds like it. And by the way, if you're just tuning in, I got Joey C. Jones on the phone. We're kind of just taking through the, like I say, finesse and nostalgia, but I mean, it's interesting to hear these aspects. I mean, especially that time period. And I've said this before to others I've had on the show. It's like I feel that it does not get respected in a sense of how big and, with the money going on and with the bands and the bands doing 4 shows and getting signed. It's unprecedented. And stuff like that doesn't go down anymore. And it's not so much about going back and making fun of that. And I wish someone would make a movie that would be along the lines of like a Goodfellas, like a serious, like a Martin Scorsese type thing, instead of some like, campy, hokey type thing that makes fun of that, because there's so many people that put their heart, their dreams and stuff on the line, you know what I mean? And made great music, and there was great bands, and I think that it just doesn't get respected, and I think by, drawing light to it in some capacity, maybe somebody out there will, definitely want to, investigate it further. Sweet
Very
Sab.
well put, Jeff. Jeff, please pardon my interruption. You know who would be great at filming that a movie and creating the whole thing? It would be Jerry Hayes, the vice.
You know what? I agree. I mean, the guy has a tremendous amount of, it's a lot of ideas, and he's definitely been there and experienced so many bands, and he loves music more than anybody I know. Absolutely. Where is he? The Iceberg? Is he still on the line there?
I'm just quietly in the background enjoying the show.
Right on, man. Then we got the Iceberg Ice Picks coming up. Joey C. Jones on the phone. Now, Sweet Savage, about 3 or 4 years ago, you released the archives, which were pretty much the early demos, right up until the one that got the attention and ones that you were shopping around, right?
Yeah, that band, we really didn't record a lot of songs. We done that 5-song EP and started getting a lot of attention and then started working. And we didn't really record a lot. So when Chris Sheridan put that together, he threw in a couple other very rough demos that we did at Tito Jackson's studio right across the street from Neverland, or whatever it was called out there.
Right.
So he threw in some of those demos and then a couple live things. I wish that band could have recorded more, but we were just so busy playing live shows, and we were just waiting on that big deal to happen.